Okay, so stay nice and tall, look up and look down. Get your breathing started as well. Look side to side. And job leg tilts. Forward gliding. Head circles. And switch direction. Shoulder rolls. Switch direction. Switch direction and alternate. Keep alternating, switch direction. Thoracic lifts. And thoracic glide. Arm swings. Alternating cross. Shoulder screws. Spinal twisting. And lateral bends. Hip swings, forward reverse. Hip hikes. And pelvic circles. Switch directions. Forward hinging, backward bends. Full squats. And Cossacks. Put a knee on the ground, hip flexor stretch. And hamstring front leg. Switch sides of the hip flexor. And hamstring front leg. And quad stretch. All right, today's workout's going to start with Kettlebell Halo. So we're going to have the handle pointing down, the ball kettlebell is going to be pointing up. We're going to take it around the line of the eyes and ears, where we're going to inhale through our nose. When we come back front with it, we want to exhale, put lots of tension into our abs, legs, pretty much your whole body. You're going to alternate directions on each one of these 30-second halos. Ready? And begin. Ten seconds. Last rep. And time. Exercise is going to be a combo lift. We're going to do a thruster for the first 30 seconds, and then we're going to do a side swing before we switch sides, where we'll do a thruster and a side swing on the other side. So for a thruster, we keep the kettlebell racked. We inhale down into a good squat position. We exhale up through your press. Inhale back down, exhale through your press. So you want to press from the legs, or the speed coming out of the squat is what you want to accelerate the press with. So try and save your shoulders, have a nice, good smooth blend of squatting and pressing with these thrusters. Ready? And begin. 5 seconds, and we're going to go to our side swing. Last thruster, and time. So our side swing, the bell is sweeping in front of you. Where we want to control this, we want to turn your lats on, you want to get your hips back, you want to rotate through the downswing, and then just like we do on regular swings, we want to straighten our body out, and the bell's always going to accelerate away from you, okay? It'll go up to about the shoulder, hips are back. Make sure we sit our hips back versus your knees coming forward, and the bell crashing into those knees. So it's best to just always make sure your palms facing you, started across, accelerate away. Side swing, ready? And begin. And time. All right, we're going to switch sides. Thruster, other side. Ready? And begin. Last thruster here, and time. Reposition for your side swing. Ready, set, and begin. Ten seconds. And time. Now we're going to move on to our twisting plank. So to set up for a twisting plank, and then get your forearms underneath you. You always want to keep your elbows and forearms in contact with the ground. So when we're going to be rolling through our hips and our lower back, so when we're doing this, we want our hips a little bit higher than our shoulders. So I'm going to drop my hips to the right, so that means my right leg's going to stay straight. My left instep is going to go into my right instep of my feet. My left knee is going to bend, and I'm going to drop my right hip to the ground. I'm also going to squeeze my right quad, or keep it pretty tight here, okay? So now I got a great stretch to the low back. My obliques are engaged, my abs are engaged. And I'm going to go to the other side, get my left foot set, nice and strong through the quad of my left foot, insteps together. My right knee's bending because my left hip's dropping to the ground, and then a nice stretch through your low back. So hips are high when you're switching. Get your insteps together. The top knee's always going to have a nice bend in it. Twisting planks, ready, set, and begin. Six seconds here. Last rep. And after the twisting planks, we're going to go to a alternating push-up position row. So we really want to put lots of tension into our body. We're going to be holding pretty much a tripod or one-arm push-up while we row the kettlebell. Some points that you want to focus on. Get your push-up or your support hand right under the shoulder. You're always going to be rowing from around the belly button or waist area. So you want the kettlebell to stay low by the hips. You want the support hand right under the shoulder. And you're going to walk side to side on these. So your body's going to move pretty much right over the kettlebell to where you're going to row it to. Alternating push-up position rows. Ready? And begin. So the goal is to stay nice and strong and square, and not lift your hips. One more last rep. And time. Now we'll move on to the plank burpee. So low plank, forearms are going to be on the ground. And we're going to hop our knees forward close to our triceps, and then we're going to jump our feet back into our low plank position. So essentially just hopping knees forward, straightening legs back out. Plank burpees, ready, set, and begin. Time. After the plank burpee, we're going to go to a single leg bridge where we'll drop the tailbone to the ground and then raise up, squeezing that glute and hamstring on that single leg. So your other leg's going to stay up in the air. Try to keep your quads parallel. And single leg bridging, ready? Begin. Really focus on the hamstring and the glute on these. So you want to push the heel and the ball of the foot as well. And switch legs. Other side. Begin. time. Next up, we're going to do candlestick leg raises. So you're going to do a leg raise, your feet are going to be flat with the ceiling, and then you're going to press your feet up, get your tailbone off the ground, and then bring tailbone down, legs go back out. So you want to put a lot of pressure into the ground with your palms and arms with these. Candlestick leg raise, ready? And begin. Time. All right, the next exercise, we're going to do a body pass with a freeze. So we're going to switch hands behind our back. We're going to bring out front and freeze, meaning squeeze your whole body. Try and exhale simultaneously. And then switch hands, freeze it out on the other side. So really, we're just repeatedly squeezing and flexing out our whole body on each pause or freeze. So hand switches in the back. Try to get a good speed going with these so it makes your freeze a little bit more effective. Body pass and freeze it out front. Ready, begin. Time. Last exercise we're going to do here is a standing twist. So it's mostly just a stretch for the IT bands in the low back. We're going to have both hands on the handle. We're going to twist our shoulders, get the bell in the hip. You can always push this knee forward that the bell is on. You're essentially stretching the side that you're away from. So the head can round, shoulders can drop. You want this bell to kind of just trail down the leg. Go as far as your flexibility is going to let you. Engage the obliques. Make sure we come all the way back up to the hip before we switch to the other side. If your flexibility is good enough, you're really not going to need to bend the knees too much. But if you do need to bend the knees, always bend the one or push it forward that the bell is on. So feet are together on these standing twists and begin. And you can always hang out there for a second because it is a pretty good feeling stretch. And time. So for the cool down stretch, you want to pull your head forward, and we're going to start with our traps, and then we'll work all the way down. So just bring your head to a side. My head is to the right, so I'm stretching out my left trap. And switch sides with it. And then both hands, gently bring the head forward, and you can look side to side on these. Elbow crossed. And then elbow up. Get into those lats and obliques here. And then we can push down on the wrist and get the tricep and the back of the arm a little bit further. Other arm across. And elbow up. Push down on the wrist. And fold at your hips and hang. You can always tuck your chin around your spine here, shake your shoulders, wiggle your arms. If you fold your arms like so, it adds a little more weight to pull you down. And you can also grab your heels or calves and kind of pull yourself down with that as well. Windmill stretch. Left leg's locked out, right knee's bent, right elbow's on my right knee. I'm going to twist and look into my left side. Switch sides on your windmill. Have a seat. Left leg, I'm going to take it crossed. Push in on the knee, pull up on the foot. This is a pretty deep glute stretch. And then I'm going to turn and look across my left side here. Little thoracic spine and neck mobility and flexibility. Lay back, we're going to pull the knee up off to the side a little bit. I'm going to take my other foot, put it flat on the ground, set my knee on the or heel on the knee, elevate the foot, push out on the interior of the knee. This is a piriformis deep glute stretch. And then I'm going to let this foot drift. I'm going to push my knee out and away. And I can get into the lower back here a little bit further in the hips. Pull the knee up, off to the side slightly here, if I hadn't done so already. Hamstring stretch. And we can floss the nerves out by pulling and pushing on the foot. Hang the leg over, look away from it. Quad stretch. And we're going to go to the other leg, cross it over, pull it in. Turn and look over the shoulder. Lay back, pull the knee up, off to the side a little bit here. Foot flat, heel on the knee. Elevate the heel, push out in the interior of the knee. Set the foot down, push the knee forward and let the foot drift to the ground. Hamstring stretch. Hang it over, look away. Quad stretch. And onto your stomach for seal stretches, cobras, whatever you want to call these. You're going to get your hips back, you're going to lay your shoelaces down, you're going to walk your hands forward. This is child's pose in yoga. So we want to stretch the arms out. It's where we feel our lats really release here. Take both arms to one side, as far as you can get them. A little more deep lat and low back. And on the side. Calf stretch, go ahead and pick one. Try to get the heel to the ground, push your foot off, or hip off to the side a little bit here. And switch legs. And we're going to finish with a straddle stretch, so as far as you can get your feet out there. Toes are off the ground, and every time I press them towards the ground, I can feel the adductors and all those muscles inside my legs and my groin kind of stretch out there. So feels good on the back and the hips to do these. Bring your toes in, bring your heels in.